Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to talk about which of these hair colors works for your hair type. There is definitely a technique and color that is perfect for your hair type. Now the tricky part is when there is something that is so trendy. And I know that balayage and ombre and sombre and smoked out roots, I know that that's been around for a long time, but that is still what is being requested. Aside from like the micro trends, but the overall trend is like softness and something that looks really natural. I'm gonna start with the first and probably kind of one of the most difficult, and this is for those fine hair clients. And finer hair can be absolutely beautiful. Oftentimes people that have fine hair actually have a lot of hair. So in some ways we can actually use that to our advantage and give you something that's really beautiful. What I've also seen is a lot of clients that come in who have already gotten their hair balayaged and it's so not what they want, and they show me a picture and they're like, this is what I want instead. Where the colors start, it's not soft, there's almost a distinct line. And this often happens when someone who has finer hair and maybe less hair. And the reason for that is in order to have a kind of chunkier piece, the more hairs per kind of square inch, the more you have to work with to create a ton of softness. So imagine, say, a panel of like 5 rows, and I have to make that go up and down but really smooth. Now imagine if I have 100 panels. That's a lot easier to make that line almost look blurred rather than if I just have 5. I know that's extreme exaggeration, but just to kind of help you visually understand why it is more difficult to give that softness, especially at the root. So what I recommend for someone with finer hair is either kind of starting a little bit lower, so it gives us a lot more space and range up here in order to give you a lot of that softness. Because in that space we can incorporate basically a mixture of, say, baby lights and some balayage, and then with that it creates a ton of softness. Now my point isn't to say that someone with fine hair and even very little hair that you can never achieve a very soft look. You absolutely can, it's just not necessarily going to look like that picture that you've probably brought in of someone who has extremely thick hair. And that is one thing that is just so common. And again, I've talked to other hairdressers and they've definitely expressed the same feelings, that oftentimes your clients will bring in pictures that are the complete opposite of their hair. And it's true, I mean, I definitely fall into this as well, but we all want what we don't have. So it's the girl that has, extremely, thick, coarse, curly hair. We'll bring in this picture of this girl that has like 10 hairs on her head and it's just like so soft, kind of limp, just kind of sitting there on her head. And she's like, I want this haircut. And I'm like, that is the haircut you have. But oftentimes they'll see it as the color or the cut. And this is in no way to steer you away from your hair goals. So say you have finer, thin hair, I'm not saying that you can never achieve, this softness of this kind of ombre or balayage look. It just means that it may take more than one session. In order to create like spontaneity and really an incredible softness, basically the way it occurs in nature is not done overnight. It's not done in one session or one sitting. Balayage or kind of a rooted look looks more and more beautiful over time, because if you think about it, if you add, say, a couple of baby lights, then that grows out, and then so this is down here but even more diffused because each hair actually does grow at different pace, so that line will be even softer. So on top of that, then you're adding more pieces that are, again, at different starting points. And it's with that over time that you keep adding just so much variation that ends up making that line so beautifully soft and just really natural looking. At the end of the day, that's all it's really mimicking, is softness that occurs in nature. So basically imagine a little girl who, her hair ends are pretty blonde and it's been basically lightened by the sun because she has such soft, delicate baby hair. And that's incredibly technical to get down in one session. So my advice would be, if you are going for this look for the first time, I would definitely recommend that you get a mixture of both. So say if you still want say some roots and you want kind of your balayage to start there or lower, just ask for a mixture of both balayage and a few baby lights. That combination will automatically diffuse that line a lot more and just make it that much more soft. Now, kind of on the other side of the spectrum, that is the girls that come in with really thick, more coarse hair, and oftentimes they want the highlights all the way to the roots. And oftentimes I will see clients coming in with sort of this look where it looks really chunky just because that person has a lot more hair. So a few highlights kind of goes a long way. So clients with thicker, fuller hair, I actually do recommend a more rooty, more relaxed look, basically the opposite of what a finer hair person would need. And the reason for that, again, to give you a visual to understand why, is much like clothing. When we wear black clothes or dark clothes, it's pretty slimming, whereas when we wear white or really bright colors, it makes the area appear larger. Also, the same way when you highlight and contour, you contour the areas that you want to make slimmer, you highlight the areas that you want to make come forth. So you're kind of doing the same thing with hair. So if someone has, you know, fuller, thicker hair, adding less of that blonde or kind of piecing it out more will actually give them a very balanced look without adding a ton of volume to their already voluminous hair. There's also another topic very similar to what we're talking about today that I've never touched on, and I'm wondering if you guys would be interested in, and that is specifically adding lightness to certain areas of the hair to better suit your face shape, whether you want to enhance certain features or whether you want to conceal certain features. So say someone that has maybe a wider jaw or not as chiseled of a jaw and they kind of want to conceal. Oftentimes women will kind of want longer hair, and oftentimes that, like if you think of it like profile, that's not actually doing much justice to that shape. And so knowing where to add color can be incredibly beneficial to really make your features pop and really give you more control as to what you want to enhance and what you would much rather conceal. So I hope that today's video has kind of helped you understand. If you've tried one of these techniques and it just hasn't worked for your hair, hopefully you understand a little bit better now, which will help you understand what it is you need to ask for in the future. So on what you can expect in the next couple of weeks in terms of videos, I have another hair color technique video coming that I've partnered with Redken. You guys are really loving those type of videos because they are definitely done more from a professional perspective and really showing you kind of more in-depth techniques. And because it is now spring, I wanted to do either kind of a spring lookbook, and maybe I can do more of like a spring trends where I kind of just sit here and explain like what is kind of trending, like what I like what I've bought. Or if you guys want to see like actual put together outfits of me trying them on. I've also had a couple of requests, and they've definitely been coming in more this week for some reason, and that is other hairdressers asking me to do kind of outfits that I wear to the salon. So that is something that you guys would like to see. Let me know, or let me know which of those kind of fashion videos you would rather see. So anyway, thank you guys for sticking around. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.